It's true. It is 5-4.
I like the intro logo.
Here comes
Yeah,
two.
thank you. Yeah. So we're here. Normally we do our jibber jabber thing, but we've been talking so much over this past episode, so we're just going to jump into it. Hey there, and welcome to Geeks with Kids, the geeky podcast from a parenting point of view. I'm Eric, and with me, as always, are my incomparable hosts, Hawk, Matt Moore, and David. Hi, guys.
Hi. Hey.
Hi. We're on Friday.
Bonjour.
It's weird. It's very different.
Except that's a lie, because you said I looked like Hawk.
Yeah. Well, I changed all that. I think I did change the name, so we're all good now.
So you compared us.
Well, it's hard. You guys are vying for the best Picard.
Why are you making this a podcast of lies?
I don't know. That's what I do. It's not my fault. I do musical theater. I lie a lot. Anyway, today we're joined by podcaster, Twitch affiliate, aspiring voice actor, and queen of puns, Brittany Toombs. You know her from her work on Everything Is Permitted, our sister cast, A Strange New Pod, and on Wednesdays you can find her here portraying a hilarious monk named Xanon on our weekly D&D game, Dead Ice. Welcome to the show, Brittany. Hi.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about, but whatever.
When I joined this podcast, you told me no girls allowed.
Yeah,
right?
well, girls is plural, so there's
Oh,
one girl.
no, I've been tricked.
No girls we're allowed one.
That's right.
Yeah.
No homers. We can have one.
I show up in a mustache next time. No girls here. No girls.
I would love that. You have to. So this week we'll be chatting about the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale, which we just saw, and the overall series. But before we do that, and because we're still collecting our thoughts and emotions, I'm still crying a little bit from that ending. We're going to do what we do every week. I'm going to turn to my fellow people on the podcast and ask them what they're currently enjoying in their lives, what they're obsessing over, what, video game, books, movies, whatever. Whatever's taking their time up. So I asked, what's good? Matt Moore, what's good? I'm starting with you.
I'm going to be so shady right now. I can tell you what's not good. You're popping again.
Am I?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
It's the intro that did it. Break. Yeah, the intro got it all angry.
Cool.
Sorry.
Well, as long as it doesn't show up on the actual Twitch stream.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
I hate Zoom.
Yeah, no one says anything on the stream, so it's fine. What's good? Oh boy. I started playing Days Gone.
That was the PS Plus title, right?
It was the PS Plus title, and it was funny because I was at the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy this. I've heard enough good things. I'll give it a shot. It was like $20 3 weeks ago. I'm like, maybe I'll pick it up. It'll be fine. And then I'm like, and I got distracted with other stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I was like, I'm gonna buy Days Gone. And I opened it up and I looked at PS Plus. I'm like, no, I'm not, because it's free. Ha!
Oh, for a minute I thought you were gonna be like, oh no, I can't because Day's gone already.
Oh, it's entertaining. It's a interesting game. I'm trying to ignore the puns. If we ignore them.
No, it doesn't work.
If you ignore them, I need more attention and I do more. Like how they're all like, nope.
Nope, it's gonna go. It's just gonna.
You know what? I want to play triple digits in puns tonight. Challenge thrown down.
Try.
Triple digits? God, I don't know. That's
such a thing has never been done.
That's a lot. Even our 2 hour. Our 2 hour D&D games.
You're challenging a grandmaster here. It's not gonna work.
But yeah, so Days Gone, I'm enjoying a lot. Eric sent me some news right before we started recording this. It made me very happy about the Conjuring comic release. I'm gonna have to track down.
Yeah. Is it out now?
I don't know.
Brittany, do you know?
I don't believe it's out.
No, it won't. It wouldn't. No. They were planning the movie for the fall, so I'm assuming they'll release the
first trailer. I watched it today. The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's doing it? DC or Marvel?
Comics, right?
Yeah, DC's doing
DC.
it. Yeah. Which hurt my soul a little bit because it means I'm gonna have to actually have DC comics in my house, but I'm okay with that.
Hey.
I love DC.
I here's the thing. When it comes to DC, I have like Joker related stuff and Simon Dark. That's the only DC I will ever purchase.
Nice. What about like Constantine?
Anyway.
June 4th.
June 4th?
Yeah, I was gonna say June and July.
Nice.
Conjuring is coming out.
So then, fingers crossed, I'll be able to actually get to a comic store of some kind to purchase it up here.
I work in one. I can just pull you a pre-ordered set and send it to you in the mail. You will have to pay it.
This
for
is-
it, but
Okay,
you'll get it.
shut up and
cheaper
take my
if you
money.
order-
Wait a minute,
you
those are
pre-order
American
through
dollars.
me,
What kind
it'll
of?
be cheap?
I believe the phrase I'm looking for is "shut up and take my money."
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. That would be
Like
awesome. 'cause-
literally a comic insider.
The
and then I would also be
Conjuring, the
excited-
lover.
Then I would also be like, I have comics coming in the mail. My nerddom is complete.
Oh, I
They'll already be
haven't
back
done that in
imported.
ages.
That's
Oh,
excited. But yeah, so
Utilize
I'm
me, guys.
I'm very
Utilize
excited
me.
about the fact that they have a Conjuring verse in comic form as well as the movie that's due to come out.
what was the last Conjuring movie?
The
The
Conjuring
Nun.
2.
Well, the Conjuring 2 / the
Was that-
Nun. Well,
Yeah, the
Oh yeah,
introduction of the
the Nun.
I thought it was like that lawyer's one where it's like the conjury's out.
Does that count?
You.
yes,
That
it
counts.
counts.
It
That
does.
I think if they're, I think
He
if I
doesn't
think,
want them to count whenever.
well,
they're
because
just a play
sometimes
on
they're
words.
just
Oh,
not
yeah.
that good.
Ouch.
Well,
It's-
regardless of
okay.
if they're good or not, if people go, "Oh, you got to do it,"
But
'cause
but
there was a
David, the
reaction.
counter is just
Oh.
puns, not good puns.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay. Okay, hold on one second.
Dave is so picky. He'll be like, "I didn't."
Yeah,
laugh,
I want good
therefore you're
puns.
Terrible.
Well, then
I-
then next time you need to adjust the counter so that it says good puns.
Oh, I'm making. Don't worry, I'm making good puns. I'm doing the
didn't-
counter for good puns.
I didn't
Okay,
see
well,
the
that's a
second
separate one.
Conjuring because of the nun, the image of the nun. I was like, no.
It's had the Conjuring core movies themselves. I've been nothing but impressed with.
Oh
The
no, I meant
spin-offs-
like it's too scary. is
No,
where
I
I'm
know,
going.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just the spin-offs are kind of whatever, and you can
Eric
feel.
said, "I'll be having none of that in my house."
Um,
You know what I mean?
but that I mean the. Oh, the good. So you're trying to make the good puns outweigh the puns. I see how it is.
Ouch.
I love how he just conjured up that counter out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, because I'm using
Mm.
OBS for, so it's like I'm
how
outputting
you
through
did it.
OBS to, like, my webcam goes to OBS. OBS goes to
You got to move the
Zoom.
good puns a little
I
bit to
love
the
how
left.
puns isn't even labeled bad puns. It's just there's puns and there's good puns.
perfect. My face is covered. Literally by- This is an audio podcast. Who cares?
Well, it's on YouTube too.
how-
Yeah. Yeah, the comic is good. Yeah, I like those.
Comic make me feel good. I've been deep diving into a lot of the horror movies that are on a lot of the streaming services because I
You
literally have nothing else to do right now.
you were playing something else other than Days Gone the other day, and I was like, oh, Matt Moore's playing, and it wasn't Borderlands.
Fortnite, Dead by Daylight.
No, it was something I didn't expect you to be playing at that time.
Was it Fall Guys? You can
No, but you,
join our squad.
yeah,
I've never
Fall
actually
Guys,
played Fall Guys. I will admit I've never played it. I don't even.
It's so
own it.
good.
Don't own it,
It's so
haven't
much
played it.
fun. It's frustrating.
I was playing Cyberpunk for a while as well.
Cyberpunk was the one I saw.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
I was like,
I-
hey, he's back
You know what?
into
It's
it.
because that giant patch came out about a month ago, and I'm like, okay, well, if they put a massive patch out, I'll actually pick it up again and give it a whirl. And it did fix a lot of the problems I'd had with it.
Did you get
but
trapped
not
in a
all.
vending machine?
No, that was one part of the big patch. Was that it's the player environment locking is fixed. The opponent environment locking was not, because I ended up shotgunning someone halfway through a wall.
That's
But
awesome.
they weren't dead.
Oh,
But
They
I
were
couldn't
just-
hit them after that.
My game would crash
they were
every
like
time I
half
got on
stuck.
a motorcycle.
So it was like
so I
half the head and the end of the gun. But I needed to kill him to finish the mission. So I'm like, well, I guess I have to reboot this now.
as SMK is asking you to turn off the room light.
Oh yeah, I can do that. All right, hold on.
I
They
thought
need-
he wanted to look like
You
a
look
heavenly
like God,
creature.
right? I thought that
That's
was
the
whole
point,
vibe.
isn't it? Yeah.
He's like, I was.
Well,
Or
now we
make us
can't
feel
see
like he's
anything.
interrogating us.
Now I'm just confused. Oh, yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Hold on.
I
Where
can.
did I light?
Where did Matt Moore go again?
There. Is that
Now
better?
it's getting very
I
spooky.
feel like we're around a campfire together.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like,
Matt, tell us some conspiracy theories now that you look like someone in a conspiracy theory video.
Let me tell you about. Let me tell you a scary story about
He's
a
like
group
Pizza
called
King.
Breitbart.
Let me tell you a scary story about the Ontario government. Anyway,
like,
the dark.
I was born in the darkness, molded by it.
I didn't
I
see
was
it.
adopted the
Blinding
darkness. I was
was
born
mad.
to it.
And by then it was nothing but blinding.
You have to talk like this, and it is exactly like Tom Hardy. It's-
Amazing.
anyway, let's move on to Hawk.
now I just can't see
Hey.
the chat.
Yeah, Hawk.
What's good, my
So-
friend?
If you're asking what my yum is,
What is your yum?
Son of a.
Yum, yum.
Yum, 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 yum.
Son of a bi-weekly podcast.
oh, it's so good to get back to basics.
Yum, yum.
Teach you, Kenny.
All right, so my yum this week is the Prime series 000. It is this crime drama I heard about. Apparently, Amazon Prime paid 165 million for this whole production, and it's worth it. You can see it; it's worth every penny.
Ooh, Andrew Riceborough.
Yeah,
Gabriel Byrne.
Yep. Dane DeHaan.
Green Goblin.
Yeah. It's this like I believe it's mostly an Italian production, and that went through Sky and Studio Canal, and Prime bought it. It's this world-spanning organized crime series, and that based on this book by Roberto Saviano.
Following a consignment of cocaine from the moment a powerful Italian cartel decides to buy the cocaine until it has been delivered and paid for. On the way, it is packed for Mexico and transported across the Atlantic. Is that the right?
So,
yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, it's this multi-nation like production, and that it starts in Sicily, and that with the Entrada and that this aging Don and that who's trying to buy back the loyalty of his people and that by dumping $900 million for them to buy cocaine. It moves over to Mexico and that where you follow this like military unit and that who are pursuing the cartel and the dealers and that, and then the Americans and that, the ones played by Gabriel Byrne and assorted cast. It's great. I've watched the first episode so far. Cinematography is awesome. Pacing and direction is amazing. So if you haven't seen a good crime drama in a while, check it out.
I haven't. So that's cool. That's awesome. Are they only doing one series? It looks like it was 2019. So
yeah, it's a limited series, and that's just based on
8 episodes.
Yeah.
Anyways,
cool.
Worth it. It's great. Check it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it does sound awesome. David, what's your yum?
I've been playing a lot of Apex recently. And
I noticed that.
I'm not awful at it, so that's pretty great. That's makes me pretty happy.
Isn't Erika Ishii the new Apex character?
She is actually, yeah.
I love her.
The daughter of
Really?
Viper, who is one of the bosses, one of the harder bosses actually in Titanfall 2. She's all grown up, and she has
call
parts
sign,
of her
Valkyrie.
dad's Titan, and
cool.
she wants to kill a bunch of people.
She's so cool.
It's pretty dope. And I guess
makes
she's
me wanna play
she's
the game.
BFFs with I can't remember the other character's name right now. One of the other new female characters.
Yeah.
She was recommended by somebody, and then they were already like their characters are friends, I guess. But they were already like really good friends in real life, so that just works out really well. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It's I don't know what there's a bunch of changes coming, so I guess I'll tell you next time what those changes are. But right now I'm doing all right. I've had a bunch of wins. There's a whole event going on right now where you have to like run around to secret areas of the map and like pick up hollow sprays or something and like scan stuff. I don't know what to get for it, but you know.
I've been slowly tempted to get back into Apex now that I've walked away from COD, and Fortnite I beat this season again, so it's just like killing time for another
Again?
month. So I'm like,
Well, we've got
the
a new
other character is Rampart in Apex.
Rampart, that's it.
It's
who's actually a pretty
funny.
dope fucking character too.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
In COD, well, COD's about to start, or they just started a new season because they just nuked Verdansk, and now they're
Yeah.
doing Verdansk
they did.
84, and I don't know. I haven't played Warzone because it takes up
it's
half of a fucking hard drive.
That was just it. I'm like, I had
honestly
liked
wish
it, but
they
it
would have
just
done like a Civil War sort of scenario, so they could call it Verdansk Revolution.
That's going in the bad puns.
no, that was
No,
good.
this is a
Don't
good
even
one.
play.
The
That
good
was
one.
good.
See,
If
that's the thing.
you
They're
want to count
terrible
puns, you can make your own counter.
But the level of effort I put into them makes them good.
Fact.
It's a truly terrible. That was pitiful,
I like that
but I
one.
tried. My brain fire is also.
And this is what I'm doing. Bad puns is not capitalized, and good puns is capitalized.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, Apex is sweet. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of my friends play it. So.
I played it for a long, like that was the sort of the first like
Yeah.
game
The
of
first
that
one I
style
really
I played
played.
for a long time, and then it just got to I was never that good at it, and there was like
Not
no
great.
real, but there was no real like chance to train to get better. So I'm like, I don't like this that much. I also had really really dodgy Wi-Fi when I was playing it.
Yeah, don't play video games on Wi-Fi when they're first-person shooters if you can help
Well,
it.
I know that now.
Oh no, Hawk, you lost your audio.
Oh no.
Well, there's his.
Do you want to leave and come back?
Weird, because at the exact same moment, I just saw a random picture of Trump for the first time since he'd left the White House, and I was like, oh,
Oh
I
god.
forgot that man existed.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I can move
no
people
thanks.
around on my screen. I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. That's my. That's what's good.
That's what's good.
Yeah,
You're
that's
liking
what's
on.
good.
You're
It's
liking
me-
that right
me
now.
kicking ass at Apex.
Hawk, you can come. Hawk, you can come back.
Baby,
Back.
come back.
Come back.
We can keep telling him that,
You
but he
can blame it
can't
all
hear
on
us.
the
He has no
I know, I'm
audio.
typing it in the chat. This is all the fun stuff you get to see. Tapita, tapita, tapita. If he disappears, I'll
His
take off
sound
the
literally
names.
said "audios."
Ah. That's 11.
What?
You
Two?
think that's a bad pun?
That was a
Did
good
you think
pun.
that was
Oh,
a
now
good
he
one?
thinks it's a
I
good
think
one.
that was a pretty good pun.
Wow. I'm trying to get a gauge for what the bar
I'm
for
trying, I
punnery
can't figure
is.
out his level because there's sometimes I do better ones
It's
than that. And
you
he's
know
just
here.
like, no.
Okay, here's one thing. If she uses the same word, like was it on Wednesday? She used the
Wednesday.
same word. She's like, "That's a good pun." I'm like, "No, you use the same word twice. You can't
Yeah.
rhyme Homer with Homer. It's not allowed." Okay, it doesn't
But
count.
that was literally audio and adios.
Yes,
But I
that's
morphed them
funny.
together.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a play on
Because you
words.
literally
though.
went adios. That works. That's a good pun, right?
So, for instance, like if she was really doubling up, like using Homer would be more of a misnomer.
But that's not a pun. That's a rhyme.
I
Can you hear us,
see.
Hawk?
Yep, can hear you now.
Yay!
Yay!
That's
Good job,
unfortunate.
Zoom. Terrible. Terrible, Zoom. Anyway, so Dave's good. He's like an Apex. He's also winning in Fall Guys, which is nice. Monday nights. Come
Yeah,
see
without
us.
you. That's what I.
We
I
win
went without
together too. Sometimes.
We won on together on the last time.
We
He
did.
won 2 squad crowns.
And I have one squad crown with a group of randoms.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
They don't count. It's not the
no,
same.
no, it's not. We have better times. Anyway, let's
Maybe
go
it's
over to
not as
Brittany.
squadic. Oh yeah.
What are you
so,
liking? What's your
what do I
yum?
like right now?
What's your yum?
I'm really enjoying Invincible on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so
It's
good.
based on a comic. The only episode I haven't seen is the one that just came out like this morning. Because
That's good.
At least I think one came out.
That was
this
Hawks
Yeah.
last week,
Yeah.
right?
morning.
Yeah.
I just didn't have time to watch that and Winter Soldier this morning, so I was
That's
like,
fair.
well, let's go with the finale because people will definitely mess that up for me.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I can't stop thinking about the Shang-Chi trailer, which I know we'll talk about a little later.
Next.
And as far as video games are concerned, I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat 11 because I didn't play that when it came out, and now I'm playing it, and it's awesome. So,
That
Yeah.
game is really good.
And I
It's really-
believe you're streaming it for Everything is Permitted on your Twitch channel.
yeah. Which
That's
and I normally stream on Mondays and Tuesdays, but this Monday I'm going to see the movie, so I'll either have to stream earlier in the day or I might just have to cancel my stream that day. But for a good reason, because I'm
Yes.
actually Mortal Kombating.
That's fair.
That's fair. Let's see. What am I liking? I am the last person on the Yum Yum list. Ooh, I should just call it the Yum Yum
never
list.
call it
Yum,
that.
yum.
The Yum Yum list.
Like the Yum Yum Hut. Yeah, Yum Yum Hut.
Yum 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 Yum. So I am
Yum 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 Yum.
liking Subnautica. I've been playing a shit ton of it on the PS5. I had it on my PC, but I didn't get into it as much as I did on the console. I think sitting on a couch and playing that game is way better than sitting in my gaming chair and playing it. I think that it's a game where you can just chill out and then occasionally get stressed because of big giant sea creatures.
Unlike the Forest that you've also been playing.
The Forest, which is I just
High
started
stress.
playing. It's more stress, which is fine in the chair because I'm just like, motherfuckers, there are cannibals here and they're just coming after me. So my first play, and I was just like, I made a little hut in the clearing, and then fucking cannibals came and killed me, and I was like, nope,
As they're
tree.
wont to do.
So I made a tree, for a little tree house instead, and now they can't climb up the rope for some reason. I don't know
I
why.
thought you were about to say I made a tree house for us. And I was like, he's making a pun. He didn't,
Ah, I
so-
should have. Damn
It's
it.
like, fuck.
I'm
But
not.
you
I'm not.
did, so it counts.
Good fun.
But was it
3.
your forest playthrough?
It was my second. Yes, it was my second playthrough. But yes.
Okay, fine.
Forest. The Forest is also quite good. I pre-ordered the
Forest 2.
Sub-Zero version of Subnautica, which comes out on consoles in the middle of May. And if you guys haven't pre-ordered Returnal, House Marquis' PS5 game,
Ooh.
oh, it looks so good, and we might on a podcast have something for this as well. So we will.
Okay.
We will see. So, Hawk, you need to get a PS5 before April 30th.
Yeah. Track me down one with a disc drive.
I know,
Might be
the other one was
doable
digital.
Because they're actually putting more out. They did a thing today where Sony was like, "Yep,
In
we're,
the-
we're
In the
I'm
States.
confused because the PS5 is the best-selling console in the States ever, but nobody can fucking get them anywhere.
Well,
so
that's
how
what-
is
That's
How does
why
that
it's
make
the best selling.
I have
It's literally sold its run out. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yes, there is the Yum Yum podcast. Like we can't call it the Yum Yum list. That's fair, SMK. Let's
Sue 'em.
see.
We're gonna take it.
We're gonna take you for everything you
Oh
have.
gosh,
No.
what a shame! We
It's a
can't
hostile
get it on the list.
podcast takeover,
Nah, it's not. They're
like the
Yeah.
opening of Life or Meaning of Life. It's the we'll sail the great wide accountancy, and
what else am I?
Oh wait,
that's not a pun.
that was a quote.
It's a
That was
quote.
a joke.
Yeah.
Accountancy.
Yeah, no, but that's what they say in the movie,
I know.
right? It's the
I'm
song.
joking.
So also, this pun counter's not for me; it's for Brittany.
Dave's like, I will die before I make a pun.
One other thing I'm
Maybe.
really liking is they had the finale for Kim's Convenience last week, and it was both amazing and sad all
I
at the
thought that
same
would have
time.
been on your terrible list because you never wanted to have to see the end of that show.
No,
I
it's
don't
on
wanna
his
see the end of
terabyte
it.
list because he illegally downloads it.
What? To be fair,
Isn't it on CBC Gem?
it's on CBC Gem, so
Yeah.
I watch it for free.
Correct. That's a bad pun.
I only
just kidding.
downloaded it for one of my friends. Can't see it.
It's a bad pun because you were wrong.
But also, everyone on that show is now breaking off and getting Disney famous. So
Well, there is one, and we're going to
Your
talk about it in
Twitch.
the news.
Nothing
so,
illegal is happening.
because I feel like the Falcon and Winter Soldier chat might take a little while, maybe the whole episode. But there is only one thing we're going to talk about, and that is the fucking Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings trailer that came out earlier this week. And I've watched
Yeah.
every single day since it's come out, at
Right.
least once. The first day I watched it at least
I watched
7
it
or
like
8 times.
8 times in a row.
In the first day. When I sent it to the Geeks with Kids chat, I was at my 4th or 5th watch of it. I was like, oh my God, I forgot to send this out to these guys.
Yeah. I literally watched it like twice, and then I was like, oh my God, I have to post this on the podcast Facebook page. And then I
Yep.
was like, okay, but I'm going to watch it 2 more times now.
It's so good. And there's a lot of drama around that trailer. I don't know if you heard about it in China. So let's talk about this trailer. What are our initial thoughts of it?
I'm invested.
Oh yes.
No thoughts, just Simu.
Simu.
I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah. Well, let's go into that. We get to see Jung. I mean, Simu Liu as the titular hero. And they changed his backstory in the movie from his father being not Fing Fang Fu,
Yes.
Fu Manchu.
Fu Manchu.
to
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
to the Mandarin. Well, they don't have the rights
so
to Fu Manchu,
Yeah,
and
that
he's
was-
incredibly racist.
Yeah.
I'm also just glad. I'm like, can we get rid of just any sort of Fu Manchu ever?
Well, except for when I grow the mustache.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
happen.
We could keep the mustache, but that's
the
it.
mustache
that's-
style is acceptable, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I mustache you. What else is appropriate?
Yeah. What do you think of this change? This the story change. I didn't know about it
I'm
until
so
the
fucking
trailer.
happy.
I feel like it's
I'm so pleased.
obvious, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
it's just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Who else are they get? Like, either they got to make his parents important because his dad was very important and a bad guy, so
Yeah.
make him Mandarin.
And it suits because that ties the story in together a little
Yeah.
stronger, and it gives that whole, outdoing your father parental conflict thing that is very popular in literature.
And the MCU is very much about, condensing those characters to make it fit their whole universe better. And I don't know, it's just one of those things. And especially because we needed to bring in the Mandarin at some point to make up for the,
The
whole
real
Trevor.
one.
Not make up, but to
Continue
pay off
that story, right?
What's
to pay
the
off the
All Hail to the King, right?
All Hail
Which
to
is
the King,
a
yeah.
really good short, and Iron Man 3 DVD Blu-ray.
Yeah.
no, it was the one that was after whatever came out after Iron Man. They had it on there.
Okay, but because they don't pay off those enough a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So this time they are. So yeah, I just think I don't know, makes sense.
Yeah, it was.
No, it's
Sorry, Huck.
it just makes perfect sense. It corrects like a huge mistake in an otherwise great character's backstory. So, and it's just symmetry, So once again, thanks Disney.
It was
Basically
in.
said, F you, Manchu.
Ooh,
I
that's
like that.
good.
That's
good.
walking the line. I know, Dave. Which one is it?
It's yeah.
Hey.
It was on Thor: The Dark World's Blu-ray, so that's
Thank you.
where.
Oh, that's why I've seen it because I own that Blu-ray.
Oh.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
What a dark world
I
you
own
live
it
in.
too.
It may be the worst MCU film, but it's still watchable. You can watch it without.
Technically,
I didn't hate
it's
it.
a Thor subject, really.
That's an overused.
That was
I
a
mean,
real
that-
that was a real low key pun there.
I know.
That's an overused. I only count them for Brittany, and she already made a low key pun. You guys are
Did we
just
miss that? Oh, sorry, Brittany. Anyway, so let's move off of Jung or Simu Liu. I gotta stop calling him Jung.
Never.
Has a name.
Let's move off of Jung. What?
A man has a name.
Oh, his push-up scene. I was just like, oh,
Stop.
Giving me
man.
the
Scene,
vapors.
no, the scene where he the knife and he catches it in the air.
That
they
was
did
so
that
cool.
hundreds of times, and he
Yeah.
really caught that at the end. He's like so many times.
it's like Scott Pilgrim with throwing the package in the garbage. Right?
Oh my god, that's so hilarious. I love that part.
So we also get to see Aquafina in a new. She's having her Sisu character, but in real life, apparently, in this this movie. She's a new character called Katie. So I guess she's just pretty much our introduction to this world. She's gonna be that person being like, "Hey, look, what is all this stuff?"
You're like, what the hell are those rings?
Here's the thing, though, and as you know, you spoke about this earlier. I don't trust when any comic
I agree
franchise,
that.
like I'm introducing a new character. I'm like, this will be the first time Marvel has ever created a new character.
Well,
as a
they had
narrative.
Darcy. Darcy was new.
Agent
Yeah.
Coulson was MCU only. He was put in the comics after.
Yes, but they were always like they weren't brought forward as main characters. They were always like secondary that were there, but they weren't part of the focus. And she appears to be part of the focus of the story.
That's true.
Well, because
So
she's going to be our lens through the film, probably.
But that's what
what I
I
just
mean when
said.
I say like I don't think she's going to necessarily be like I don't think it's a new character. I think they just haven't named who she actually is yet.
So Jay in our chat had just watched the Shang-Chi trailer because he didn't know that it was out. And damn right, it is a great trailer. Damn right. Anyway, yeah, so I like her in general, and I thought she was funny. And my eldest cat was like, "Hey, is that Sisu?" when we were watching the trailer. So so I was like, "Yes, that is her." So she's like, "We have to go see this in theaters."
I
It's
love
like, okay.
how a bunch of people after that trailer were like, "Oh wow, like Aquafina's really grown on me," or like, "Oh, who's this new person, Aquafina?" I'm like, "She's been around like what movies
Forever.
have you been watching?"
Forever.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, just because you like, I guess, knew about her from like Raya and now this movie, I'm like, what the fuck?
Not Crazy
Did you
Rich
not watch
Asians?
anything
I mean, come
else?
on.
Yeah, no, Crazy Rich Asians. She was like in that movie.
Yeah.
For a lot of it.
Oh,
Tony Leung is Mandarin.
stop it.
He is so good in
I
it. Oh
love
my god.
Tony.
He looks so perfect. And I guess we get the introduction of the 10 rings, which are more like armlets now, which is sort of cool.
Yeah.
Traditionally in the Marvel mythos, they were found with they were finger rings, and they were found by the Mandarin and are a product of the Axan-Kar, which were the alien race of Fin Fang Foom.
How
So
do you know
And I-
they're not finger rings, but for
That's
really
what I
big
was gonna
people?
say. I'm
That's
like,
true.
Realistically, if they want to bring it in, they would be finger rings for that race.
The
Oh my
dragon.
god.
Or just like frost giants or something.
Well, it looks like they have different powers like they did in the in the comic books, and they sort of have that same glow that Black Panther's powers had from the
Yeah.
vibranium, which
Like
was
the-
really cool.
So that's
Doesn't
I'm really hoping that was like a little hint that it's like no, these are rings, just not for humans.
Yeah, and there was a lot of dragon imagery. I know it's the 10 Rings organization is an Asian based one, so there would be dragon.
And the 10 rings literally summon a dragon or awaken a dragon.
Yeah, those are Dragon
that's-
Balls.
No, I was about to say Dragon Balls. You literally beat me to it. I was just like, hold on.
But Fin Fang Foom doesn't grant wishes.
Doesn't he?
Yet.
That we know of.
It's the Disney
No.
version.
No.
It might happen.
Oh, it's going to summon Dudley the dragon?
No, it's gonna fucking summon Mushu.
I was supposed to say, we're gonna bring Mushu.
I'm great
And
so
Sisu.
right.
Can we
Oh my
get
God,
Eddie
can
Murphy in the MCU, please?
That'd be
No, I
amazing.
can't.
As
yeah.
What did I read? I read somebody I don't, it's probably not even going to be close to right, but somebody was like, maybe they use PIM particles to change the size of the rings. Maybe just, whatever. Because we need
I
PIM
mean-
particles and more things. I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess.
I,
I don't
I
know.
think it would be stupid if they did that. I'm more for the idea of like these are rings for bigger hands.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, ooh, let's shrink them.
And also, it's kind of badass to have these like bangles on your hand when you're fighting. Like it's just for me.
I mean, that is a thing as
Yeah.
well. Like,
Yeah.
if
Because
you
then
watch
you
The
don't need the
Protector.
sounds to happen when you hit people. It's like bangle, bang, boom.
Yeah.
It also looked like we got some ancient battles. Like there were a couple like super like kung fu-esque choreography like sequences, like the one in that bamboo forest, and then there's that ancient battle. So maybe it gives the Mandarin extra long life or something. So he's sort of
I
more
want
like
to see Michelle Yeoh.
I
Need Michelle.
was she the girl in the dress.
You don't see her face.
I know that.
That's the thing. But also, technically, characters wear masks in this. How
Hey,
fucking wild
the
would
Death
it
Dealer?
be if she was
Oh.
Death Dealer? Like,
That'd
'cause
be
they,
awesome.
They give her a name, but like, where is she though?
Mhm.
Unless she's
Mhm.
the lady in the forest, where is she?
Mhm.
Tell me.
Right, you heard it here first.
Yeah,
That would be crazy
I was thinking-
as hell
I hope
would
so. That would be
scream.
amazing.
if she was
Yeah.
Death Dealer, because I'd be like, what the?
It also would track with how Marvel casts movies, where they cast unexpected people in these
Yeah.
amazing roles, and then
Or
you're
they
like,
do these secret things, and you're like, I don't know who I'm cast as.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to disclose who it is. P.S.
Yeah.
It was
Better
me.
to deal death than Michelle Yeoh.
It's true.
Right?
I'd let her kill me easily. That's just me.
So how many people are going to see this movie and be like, Death Dealer? I didn't see Kate Beckinsale in this movie.
Oh,
Womp, womp, womp.
Was
There
that
was
a
like
underworld
7 of
thing?
those. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
Okay,
Death
I was like-
Dealers are the vampire.
I
like,
couldn't
group.
remember.
They're vampire special forces.
Anyway, so we also got a good look at Razor Fist, who's the worst MCU character, but he sort of
Does he
looked
wipe
cool
his
in this
butt?
one.
Like,
He
what
looks
does he
neat.
do?
He might be
with a
cool.
sword for a hand.
How do you go pee? Anyway, it's a
oh no.
He likes to do crossword puzzles.
But my theory
cross
is
the
he's
street.
going to be this film's Taserface,
Maybe.
where it's just going to be like you call
Yeah.
yourself Razor Fist, and you have a sword for it. Like,
I could
Really?
see Simu giving him shit
Yeah.
for that.
also
For sure.
having a sword instead of a hand is not a good way to use a sword. By the way, because there's a lot of things in your wrist that you use a sword for,
Yeah.
and just having
And he's just like,
it's not smart.
So he would almost have to use it more like a razor because he doesn't have the same flexibility as
Right.
a sword.
Yeah.
well, think of when he raised his hands.
Oh.
Was that a fun? Where did it go? Anyway,
I don't know.
Yeah.
so
I'm putting one up.
last thing before we
know,
go
I
to the actual episode, are we going to see Trevor in this movie? I know,
Yes.
yeah, for sure, right?
I know.
You know.
I think after
No?
credits, probably. I think
Post
after
credits, I could see.
Yeah.
I hope
No,
it's like
I-
referenced at some point, or if it is, it's like one of those where you're like, ha!
It'll
Yeah,
be one of
look
those. He'll be locked up in a cell somewhere in the.
Oh, well, they'll
in
walk by him.
Mandarin's
No,
house.
he should be out now on good behavior.
No, no,
Oh,
I mean,
no,
like,
no, no. I mean the
remember
Mandarins.
They'll have taken him,
Oh,
and he'll be there.
that'd be all
He'll
right.
be Mander indisposed.
And he'd be like, "But I want a speedboat." And they won't give him one.
Oh
No,
God!
it's complicated.
I hope that he's strapped to the front of a speedboat. That would make me giggle.
That would be good. Yeah, all coked out.
just,
There
just
is-
like
there-
like full Mad Maxing it, just like
And there's a guy with a guitar in the back.
yeah. Razor Fist is just playing his. You got a guitar attachment for his sword.
There is a rumor that
He's shredding.
Ooh, that's a different franchise.
Oh, okay.
Predator.
so this movie takes place in San Francisco, and there's a rumor that because Ant-Man doesn't show up in the trailer or apparently in this movie,
Easy.
that this is actually taking place during the blip time period.
Maybe.
It would make sense. It would make sense because I mean something on this kind of scale that involves the Mandarin and the Ten Rings would be a thing that would get people's attention if they weren't otherwise preoccupied with the world ending.
Well, the next Ant-Man movie is also in the quantum realm. It's like Ant-Man Quantum something or whatever. So he could just be in the quantum realm. Also, it's weird to me to assume that like every superhero needs to be. It's like, oh well, it's in San Francisco, so obviously Ant-Man has no idea what's going. Like he'd be like,
That's
oh,
fair.
there's a bunch of people kung fu fighting.
Yeah.
I need to go get involved in that.
He is pretty clueless when it comes to his surroundings.
Yeah, like
I really feel like Michelle Yeoh is Death Dealer. Like the more I stare at the picture of
Yeah.
the mask,
It would make
Because
that
sense.
looks. I'm sorry, but that looks like a woman's eyes.
It does
I have looked
I
at
agree.
Michelle
Right.
Yeoh
a
for
lot.
decades. Just the height next to the kid also, and like just the body size. I'm just like, why do I feel like that's Michelle? And they don't want me to know.
Mhm. She moves. The
to
Death Dealer moves like her too, like in that fight scene. Like it
I
looks
know.
like her.
you guys might have
It would
cracked
make
the code.
sense.
Disney's gonna come after her and kill both.
I'm gonna
of
put
you.
the her in Death Deal her. It's gonna happen.
Oh,
Michelle will let you yo when she's ready.
you need a hawk. I will end on this. I appreciate the fact that it's actually taking place in San Francisco, based on the history of Asian people in that. I hate it in that city. after watching Warrior, even more respect to them putting it in San Francisco. So that's pretty awesome. So previously on Geeks with Kids, no, not previously on Geeks with Kids, because let's just jump into the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier, titled "One World, One Pizza." People.
One world, one pizza.
I heard one pizza.
That's a big fucking pizza.
Damn.
Guys, can I tell you something really sad?
Yes.
So, I didn't come across my Master of Kung Fu books, so I couldn't remember like which issues I had, and I swore I already had this issue. So the other day, I sold the first appearance to Death Dealer to somebody before the day before the trailer happened, because I'm like, probably gonna be in the movie. Like, this is like a rumored thing. Sold it. Realized the following day, I don't have that issue, and I was like, God damn it!
You got Disney.
And apparently now, no, you don't.
No, that's gonna. Whew,
Disney
jump.
swooped in. Got that. That's gonna be a rare.
It's okay. One of my favorite customers bought it, but I was just like,
That's fair.
That's
So
nice.
you know where they live. Time to.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
so I'm
Take
hoping
care
I
of
find
business.
another one at the shop that was as good quality, because like I kept looking at it and I was like, if nobody buys this by the end of the day, I'll buy it. But I'm pretty sure I already have it. Like, but it was one of those things where like I didn't know for sure.
You fucked up.
I fucked up.
At that point, always err on the side of buy it, because then you
I
get
know.
at it. Then
But I
you're
don't
like,
want to be like that employee that's like, oh, a good thing just went up on the wall. Let me buy it. Like the minute it goes up. But
I had
the
like
privilege
I
of
think
being
we
an
would all be
employee.
that employee if
We
we,
would
had your
be.
job.
Like 100%. That's
True,
the only
true.
perk you get from dealing with a lot of crazy ass people, is that you get first
Yeah.
dibs on the good stuff.
You know how many? Like I have Star Wars minis because I worked for a company that sold them. I worked at HMV, so I have a fuck ton of DVDs and Blu-rays. Like,
yeah. Well,
I worked
that's
at
how have
Future
all my
Shop.
D&D stuff. Like I already get so many good discounts and all that, and I do have a lot of comics. But it's just in my mind, I was like, I've loved Shang-Chi. I'm happy all these other people are going to be into it soon. Like I was just like, I hope we get a trailer soon, and I didn't.
It's because
I
you're a
didn't
good
think-
employee. That's why.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, it's true.
But it's
A
okay.
born
One of my favorite
salesperson.
customers bought it. But if he
Exactly.
ever wants to sell it, I'll be like, no, I'm buying it from you.
No, I will buy that, or I will. Keep it.
$1 million.
It also
If it ends up being Michelle Yeoh, I will literally be like, I will give you $400 right now for that comic because I'm getting her to sign it.
Oh my god, yes, that would be amazing.
The con.
Anyway,
Oh,
It
I
will
would.
be mine. Oh yes. it will
Also,
be mine.
before we get off that trailer, I hope they introduce Iron Fist back into the MCU.
Well-
like putting them
one?
together would
like
be
a,
so
like a
fucking
good Iron Fist. I
So-
mean,
I don't know.
I don't think they'll do it in this movie. I think
no,
they
no,
will
not in this movie for
do
sure.
it down the road, maybe.
They
I
need
think
to
get rid
meet
of
up
Iron
again.
Fist. Just bring in Luke Cage.
well,
I want both
Forget
of
Iron
them.
Fist and bring in Luke
But
Cage.
his dynamic is just with Iron Fist. That's they're like buddy cops.
Yeah, I just think we just don't do Iron Fist anymore because that show was so fucking bad.
Yeah.
The
it was
show technically
fucking
never
terrible.
Existed, then we're fine.
Yes, true.
That's what.
But,
Yeah,
well-
well, MCU will condense though, because I don't think they want Iron Fist and Shang-Chi, to be honest.
It's-
Well, I mean,
it's-
honestly,
It's unnecessary, really.
it's basically just like authentic, or you want this white dude.
Yeah, you want the whitewash version or like the
Yeah,
authentic?
like-
yeah.
like
I wouldn't
authentic
mind
or
seeing
dude that
Shang-Chi
has
beat
mystical
Iron
powers.
I
Fist.
do love Shang-Chi though.
do you want Chinese food or do you want to go eat good food in China?
Both.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
Answer, but like,
I don't know, but now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I want to get Chinese food after this.
I
Anyway,
ate Chinese food right before I came in.
damn it.
Before my
Don't let Eric transition.
I'm gonna transition
ahead,
to the finale, which we just saw.
He's like,
One
time
world,
to
one
change
pizza.
subject.
This is gonna be the stunt episode all over.
God, one day we will do that stud episode.
No,
One
we
day
won't. We
I know
never
we
will.
won't. We won't.
One world, one
Considering we're
pizza.
doing Mortal Kombat next, we'll yeah. Anyway,
I seen it.
so this is gonna be a roundtable. We're gonna talk about the finale and the whole series, but I'm gonna guess. Do we really need to go over what happened in the final episode?
We just watched it.
We watched it. We get Sam in the suit. We get Carly dying. We get U.S. agent getting his suit and actually being sort of good and not super crazy. I thought he was gonna fight Falcon both in their Captain America suits, which they didn't really do, which is sort of sad.
I don't think they're interested in fighting each other. It was just
No.
for the shield.
Yeah.
It was only about the shield.
Bucky resolved things with that old dude.
He did more than that. He really
yeah.
did.
And he grew a lot.
Fight. He saved people instead of fighting, which is not something he's ever done before.
That's true. What else happened other than that?
Yeah.
We got more Val.
Sharon.
Sharon is the power broker.
Yeah, Sharon's
And-
power broker.
And she got pardoned at the end in the post credits, which
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
Sam.
you had Isaiah
Sam helped
finally
get that
get
pardon.
something.
Acknowledgement. Got
I
the
hear he's getting
oh
pardoned.
yeah, that was really good.
Look under your seat right now. There's a pardon.
Isaiah got put back into the narrative. He got put back into history.
That was actually beautiful. Well, that was probably one of my favorite parts of seeing
That's probably my favorite
Isaiah.
part. I was like bawling my eyes out.
I mean, there's a reason that Falcon becoming Cap, right, and getting the shield and the suit and everything, and accepting their responsibility and taking it on, and Isaiah. That's the focus of this show, and for good reason, because what's happening in real life right now, right? Like, like Bucky doesn't need to be the focus, even though he's a titular character. Like, but he grew, and he didn't need to grow super far though, right? He overcame his thing, and the rest is really about what's happening right now in the world.
It's also like I feel like this finale hits a lot more considering like the verdict that just happened in the U.S. like literally a day or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just like
Yeah, this finale actually worked really well for me. Like I thought it was a really good one. As Jay said in the chat on our Twitch, Bucky finally made peace, and you see that symbolically when he's not wearing the glove anymore. Like he's not afraid to show that he's the Winter Soldier. And that lady.
The thing is, nobody's calling him the Winter Soldier. Like the soldiers called him Sergeant Barnes, right? Everybody calls him Bucky. Yeah. So he doesn't have that persona. He was putting that on himself.
Yeah, well, that's just it. He was the one that was putting that on, and he had to. And then at the end when he said, it's like he was killed by the Winter Soldier, which was me.
Yeah,
he acknowledged that
was me.
Was
yes.
If you notice in that scene, he's not wearing black anymore. He wears blue, which is his old color.
Yeah, yeah, very nice. Also, I don't know if we mentioned this during the watch through or during this episode, but the people that wrote this series are actually going to write the next Captain America movie, which I assume is going to be called,
which is awesome.
Captain Falcon or the Black Falcon.
No, he is Captain America. Damn it.
Captain America : F.
That was the only line I didn't like from this episode. Was that part where he's like, "That's the Black Falcon." He goes, "No, that's Captain America." I was just like, "Stop."
It had to happen.
But that's such a comic book moment too. Like that's the thing you see these days.
But the only thing I didn't like about this whole series, I mean, this episode I liked a lot, and it's actually saved the series for me because otherwise I just kind of was underwhelmed with pretty much the whole thing. But they would have these very serious moments where they're really talking about these deep themes or really analyzing race, and then there's always one or two throwaway lines that completely derail it and just make it lose that impact. So I'm just like, you could have just not included those two lines, and
because
this would have been a moving thing.
Because they don't want to take a hard stance, right? Because
I know they don't. They want to balance it out with a joke, like Marvel always does.
But also
that's they finally did.
And it's a very Marvel thing, and they did, but they didn't. I mean, remember, Sam had that great, amazingly written and acted speech.
With the
that
senators?
was legit one of the most moving things I've seen Marvel do. And then it's sorry man, I was texting, all I heard was Black Man and Stars and Stripes, and I was like,
I know, yeah, and they always have but they didn't need to do that. But
I kind of get it because it's also totally on brand with how these characters interact with each other. They aren't really ever ones to be, as much as they're both really serious characters, they're never that serious with each other.
Yeah, Bucky wouldn't say that in the public eye. Bucky would say that to Sam, right?
As they were walking away.
That's what he just did. But
Yeah.
What I'm saying is just I liked the rest of the dialogue in this actual episode. It finally worked for me and clicked, where I was just okay, it feels like the show knows what it's doing here, whereas a lot of the times it did not know what it was doing throughout. So that was solid to me, and that's why I was saying that's the only line I didn't like, was just that they had to really say it out loud. I'm we know he's Captain America. Nobody would say this in real life while filming him.
To me, it's one of those things
so
where
unreal.
it's they went through a bunch of stuff and they went and then in the edit they went, let's put that there because that's going to change the beat of this scene so that this scene doesn't seem as serious when Sharon is a wanted fugitive and somehow she and Bucky just get away, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, any final thoughts on the finale before we go into the whole series?
I appreciated the payoff. It was a good payoff. I wish they had extended the series out even one or two more episodes, just because the last two episodes there was a lot of material that was very heavy and it felt a little rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they needed another episode.
And that's also because we were just coming off of WandaVision, which had, in my opinion, the right amount of episodes, because they were able to fully tell that story and flesh everything out so that almost to the point where you can kind of telegraph where it was going to go, because they'd spent so much time telling the story so well that you could kind of see where it was going to conclude. This felt a little like we need to get this done and out, which a part of it was they had to get it done and out because it got delayed by the lockdown last year.
Yeah, there's a bunch of rumors about like storylines that were cut and stuff like that, and you can tell like some editing, like some pacing and stuff like that. You're like, this feels like it suffered. But the thing is, we can't judge it on what wasn't there. Like we have to judge it on what we were given, and this is what we were given. And I think it's not as good as they could have done.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think the reason the show's like that is mostly because they split the story between 3 main characters. They literally made it about John Walker, about Sam, and about Bucky.
Mhm.
Whereas if they just would have focused on a show about Sam and Bucky, we would have a different amount of time to cover these things. But instead, it was about Zemo, Sam, Bucky, John Walker, and it was like spread so far apart that that's why I felt like we didn't cover as much ground.
Yeah.
This show felt like it was laying the groundwork for so many other things, whereas WandaVision was just like, we're laying groundwork for one thing. And
Which is accurate.
And the show is like, okay, we might get Thunderbolts. We could get Dark Avengers. We could get, like, what are we going to get? A solo Bucky film? We're going to get a Cap film? We're, are we going to get a second season? Are we going to get a John Walker movie or a series or what? Like, and like introducing Val, like, was it episode 5?
Yeah.
Like, this is all John Walker stuff, and it's like,
well, she wasn't originally supposed to be introduced here, right? She was supposed to be introduced in Black Widow, so we would have already seen her and been like,
that's the one thing that kind of drove me nuts about the fact that they pushed this ahead of that.
Oh no, we lost Hawk again.
Yeah. It's like, because I know that she was cast in Black Widow. I'm like, I wish that they had spent the time, like, released the movie before this. So that we could have seen her there, and then when she shows up, and that there's that bigger pop because you're like, oh shit, it's her.
I mean, it's a big deal of who the actress is because you're like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like
what?
She's also a big character too, right?
Yeah.
So you're just like, holy
big
shit.
Character, a big moment.
And oh man, I wish they didn't just go for that theater money and they pushed it to June just so that they could.
It sucks probably because there's a lot of contracts for that film hitting theaters, right? Just like they did with whatever the WB or whatever movie was that they pulled, or Universal, whoever it was that didn't put stuff in like whatever, man. There's because movies are supposed to hit theaters because some actors take cuts from that rather than a bigger payout up front.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're doing the double thing, so right? Aren't they doing premiere with this one with
you'll be able to get you'll be able to get Black Widow on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And in theaters, right? They're doing both.
Yeah.
Well, because some places you can go to the theater,
with Godzilla.
like the United States, and in some places like Canada, you can't go to the fucking theater.
Well, definitely not Ontario.
Yeah, it's not going to make sense to like release it in theaters because there's no theaters open here, and considering the majority of the population is here. For us, right? Like they don't count Canada and the United States, except in Canada. They just count North American box office and then world box office, right? That's how they calculate everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not that peeved about it because I mean, again, the series were booked to come out at a certain time. They needed to honor that. The movies, I remember like they pushed Black Widow back last year to this date, so I kind of understand that they were literally like, this is the new date for it. But then they had to still get things out there because otherwise they have no product and they don't want to not have product.
That's like how when they first had Disney Plus, they literally had The Mandalorian and like nothing else. And they banked on that, like, how long will this last?
Yeah, but that worked.
But thankfully it worked.
At first,
John
so many
Favreau.
people canceled immediately afterwards. Like,
there were a lot.
Waited until literally WandaVision was the next big thing that actually got people to come back on it.
Wasn't it Mando season 2?
Well, yeah, Mando season 2, but I'm counting Mandalorian as like the same.
Oh,
thing.
okay,
Like, people basically Mandalorian sustained it for like 2 years, and then finally they had something else.
Well, that's because I mean, like, but they did the smart thing with Mandalorian because they released it all at once, so it's like here it is, or they didn't. They did it weekly.
No, they did it week by week.
Yeah.
That's what they had to do. If they would have done it all at once, people would have
been. They would have been 1 month and done.
destroyed.
They pitched it in 1
Plus.
month and then dropped it.
Yeah, they don't do full releases for their new series.
No.
I think it's all week by week for every single thing that's new.
Yeah.
At least they did that with High School Musical, the series.
I think they've been doing it with almost all their in-house series.
Yeah, their new stuff. Yeah,
weekly because that way they can gauge numbers.
I mean, is there anything else until June? Like, is there anything in May on Disney Plus, or is it all June? Because we get Hawkeye in June or July.
We get
not Marvel,
but we
Star
Wars animated.
We get Bad Batch, and we get High School Musical, the series, season 2.
I'm not watching any of that, so.
Yeah.
They're doing Beauty and the Beast.
I don't think people are going to go as like Bad Batch will be good, but people aren't going to go crazy like they did for this stuff.
Well, the Star Wars fans will, so that's enough to sustain them through a month until they get to
Yeah.
June, July, and now it's everything.
Yeah, they're releasing the Darksaber Black Series in May, and they're also releasing the Bad Batch. So I'm just gonna be sitting there with my lightsaber, not my lightsaber.
SF
black.
Haven Gaming said in the chat, we also get new episodes of the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, well, isn't that out right now? That's I think that came out a couple of weeks
Probably.
ago, so they're doing week by week. I have not checked out the new Mighty Ducks. I assume it's
good.
good. Yeah,
It's good.
I'm watching. I'm in the second movie with my kid, so we're going through all the movies before we get into the series, which we did with WandaVision. Anyway, let's go to the whole series. Overall, there was a lot of new things we saw in this series. We got to see the normalization of some superheroes. We got to see some downtime. We got the big question of how do you guys get paid, which I thought was wonderful. What do you guys think about that whole normalization? We get to see their normal life.
I
in the
liked
series.
that. It was cool, and not even like the downtime. Like because we've seen downtime before where they were at like the West Coast compound or whatnot, but like actually like I'm gonna go home and visit my family.
Like we saw a little
Sam's
bit of
the
it in
first
Endgame,
superhero
right?
we see other than Ant-Man, who has like a family.
Yeah,
I guess
Hawkeye.
Yeah. And that's it.
But yeah,
None of the
it's-
female superheroes have family, apparently.
Well,
Only gonna change
What are you
that
talking
we've
about?
seen.
Carol Danvers does. Her shit's just fucked up.
Yeah.
Does she have?
She left. Okay, she
Oh, her
literally
dad, yeah.
raised a kid with her best friend, left
Oh.
Earth for 20 years, came back.
That's
You just
fair.
haven't
She has a
seen that
family.
yet. Yeah.
You just haven't seen it yet.
That's true. True.
because
True.
That's why Monica's like my deadbeat dad, aka Carol.
Fair. Fair.
So we haven't seen it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not yet.
Well,
Yet
a little
Marvel
bit.
2. Yeah, a little bit.
And we haven't. And Black Widow, I'm presuming, will go into her life
Her
outside of.
family
Her
dynamic.
little
Yeah.
ballet thing and guys. Anyway,
But no, I like the fact that they're giving us more. I mean, the series again, they're making use of we have some times where we're going to show you what these guys are doing when they're not out saving the universe from Mad Titans. Like sometimes you got to go get a bank loan.
Hawk thoughts?
It's it's the aspect of the normal life of these guys that allows the series to tackle bigger issues than they could in the movies, and that more homegrown personal issues. So I think overall, though they may not have like knocked it out of the park the way they did with WandaVision and that, at least there's this platform that they can try and experiment with a new way of telling Marvel stories on, and I was here for it in that. And I don't think we've even gotten into like the action in the last episode. In that I thought some of the stunt sequences were probably the best I've seen in
Yeah,
the
we could talk
series.
about the stunts in the whole series. Like I thought this definitely felt like a or a Captain America
Yeah.
show or
Bucky
movie.
did a fucking superhero landing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Has
And
any
also-
other than Iron Man? Maybe Cap's done it
No, I don't even think Cap's
with the
done it.
shield though.
With the
Yeah.
shield, maybe, yeah.
but Bucky did it with the vibranium arm.
Yeah.
He has a
And
vibranium arm. That's the
Yeah.
only reason.
Also, can we just
Nobody
talk
else
for a
can.
second about the fact that apparently his arm can be detached mid-combat if you know the right buttons to push?
So
Sequence?
the thing
the
that
Wakandans know.
I've heard two theories. One, people were mad because they're like, oh, she like used like fucking whatever she knew, like a code or whatever, and it's bullshit that there's a code. Or more likely, she knows how to turn it into like a reboot sequence because they fucking made the thing,
Yeah.
and it'll never work on Bucky again.
Mhm.
Like she knew a secret to like, hey, this is how you detach the arm,
Yeah.
and then it'll never work on him again. But now he probably knows how to take his arm on and off. You
Well,
really see him
yeah.
put his arm back on. So
Yeah. But also, I mean, realistically, given the circumstances of why he was in Wakanda and when that arm got made, yeah, they'd have a deactivation code for it. Because if he was in the middle
Yeah.
of recovery,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, they were deep.
if he decided he was going to snap, you don't want him to have that arm on him anymore.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense there would be a
Because
kill switch on
the
it.
only superpowered people in Wakanda are the Black Panther. Like it's Black Panther and anyone else who has, and there's no more, right? Like
No.
that's the whole plot of the first Black Panther movie is there's no more of the special herb,
Yeah.
so we can't have any more Black Panther.
Mhm.
Allegedly.
Oh, allegedly, I wonder
Well,
if
I'm
there's
still
they're gonna
figure it
find
out
yeah.
because yeah.
Well, I mean, the field where they grew that herb was the heart shaped herb was gone, but
Yeah.
doesn't mean they don't have a stockpile somewhere else.
Yeah, that's fair. What did you think of the Falcon having like some of the best flying sequences since any Iron Man stuff? At least I thought so. I thought his
Yeah.
Yeah,
fight
I like
sequences.
seeing aerial stuff again. It was
Mhm.
neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome. The and the cinematography just like it was perfect for it, and that following him along, sometimes close, and getting those great angles. I
Him
know.
in helicopters, right?
Yeah,
I think his fighting style is fundamentally different now with the shield too.
Yes.
Like he does not fight because he fights a lot more with the shield, which is cool. And now he uses the wings different, like not he uses them just as much probably, but like differently.
We didn't get to see him fight as much before, though. So
we saw him in the first episode. He fights a lot with it, and he uses it as a shield and like for mostly like boosting himself and stuff. But you're right, his fight style does change once he has the shield because he knows he has that, and then the wings are kind of just like maneuvering and then blocking.
Well, and the advantage of them being vibranium wings as well, too.
Exactly.
And presumably he doesn't want to cut people in half with those wings.
Yeah.
Which he probably could fucking do.
Well, and I think especially too is given the fact that, because he had that suit, the suit was altered and remade for him, but it was remade for him on the assumption that he is going to be Captain America, so he's going to have the shield.
Is there
when he did when he deflected the helicopter and he literally dropped the shield and then the wings basically shelled around.
Yeah, they came
him.
around.
That
That
Is
was
there-
my favorite part of the whole
That looks
show.
so good.
maybe we're not the right people to answer this, but is there a special significance to the fact that because he's, African American, the suit comes from an African nation to shield him and it's a very American thing, right? The suit is like Captain America is like entrenched, even though it's like a German scientist who developed the serum and all this stuff, but it's a very
But he doesn't have the serum, so
yeah, that's true.
That's what I mean.
That's
But
what
the
makes
idea
him-
of Captain
yeah.
America comes from a German scientist is the thing. It wasn't like everybody else. It was Erskine who was like, we need a super like he was like, I'm going to develop this. I'm going to give it to the right person.
Well,
And
it's debatable. I mean,
I think that it was certainly not accidental that his new cap suit was made in Wakanda.
Yeah.
well, it was
Like-
absolutely on purpose. So
Yeah.
he doesn't have the costume that was like literally tied to the U.S. military. This whole background, he literally says, not blonde hair, not blue eyed, no super serum. I am a black man wearing the stars and stripes, and I'm doing this for all of my people and what we have been through.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what the show's about. So like they 100%. That's the reason Bucky. I mean, he was like the Wakanda guys. They worked on my arm, so I can get them to do this too. But also he's like, a black man needs a good suit. So like, the guys from Wakanda are gonna hook you up with this. They understand what this mantle means. So
Yeah.
who better to like make the suit for you?
Because Captain America is almost like America's Black Panther.
Essentially.
And a lot of it's the moral compass of a country.
Yeah.
So it's important that they have the right.
yeah,
Black Panther gets to make actual decisions, but Captain America just leads, right?
But he's the representation of that nation.
Yeah.
it's one of the big ideas that they were chasing throughout this series, and that is that who can fill the idea of Captain America best.
Yeah,
in
the
that.
symbol itself.
Yeah.
Right, because I mean, the super soldier serum only produces like a super soldier, and that doesn't produce a Captain America.
That's
And
right.
the idea of Captain America, like literally, is probably the invention of some corporation.
So here's my question: can you have a Captain America who isn't a soldier?
Yeah, yeah.
Falcon's a soldier.
Was.
Yeah, but you still can. Because
But have we had any Captain Americas who weren't from the U.S. military though? Like Nuke was supposed to be a Captain America. He that didn't work out, and he was a soldier.
it's just like
Falcon's a
you wouldn't
soldier.
have a character who isn't try to take up that mantle.
Yeah.
You know, like
You're not
that's
gonna
the
have.
only reason it's always been
Yeah.
somebody like that, because if you just put someone different in there, people that are reading comics are like, okay, but I follow this character because it's always this type of person.
Well,
That would be like,
Well, because Patriot's not like he's not a soldier,
Well,
right?
is he not?
like,
Was he
John-
not trained?
no, they're
I
all
haven't read them.
The Young Avengers? No, I'm talking about actual
Patriot.
oh Patriot. Gotcha. I thought you
Yeah.
were saying like
Because he's like basically Cap Jr., right? He's not like Bucky. He's straight up just like this is the kid version of Captain America. He leads the Young Avengers.
Patriot? No, Patriot was kid version of Isaiah.
Yeah.
Who's Captain America?
Well, yes, he was a Captain America. Yes.
Anyway, let's go on to actually Isaiah, because I think his inclusion in this story was actually probably one of my favorite parts of it, and hearing how the U.S. government continued to, experiment on people, and especially based on the, the real life story of how the U.S. government experimented on black soldiers during what was it, World War II?
Yeah.
All the wars. I don't
Yeah,
know.
more
Yeah,
World War
literally
II.
all the time.
Also
Yeah.
good that they didn't hand wave it away by going, oh, it was Hydra or something, right? Like they
Yeah, no,
specifically
they-
say U.S. military or U.S. government. It's not like, oh, no, we're secretly bad guys inside. It's like, no, there's good and bad
Yeah,
parts.
no, they flat out owned the fact that no, that was the U.S. military that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts? Good? Yeah.
I think
Super
like,
important. Yeah.
I think it was wholly necessary for them to tell the story properly.
Yeah, it added more weight to when when Sam picked up the shield. I feel.
I
Exactly.
suspect that was probably in the story from the start, from like the first draft.
100%.
To bring
It
that
had to
in.
be
100%.
for sure.
Because that probably
like,
felt like the most fleshed out of any part of the story.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, and if
And
you're
then-
doing a story about another person taking on the mantle of Captain America, you're going to refer to past people
Yeah.
who have had
Yeah.
the mantle of Captain America. And
Mhm.
considering Sam is also black, you had a lot of people liked the limited series that happened that had Isaiah in it, which was Truth.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
like,
Fanta-
this was the perfect time to introduce that. That's the same way that they thought, oh, Captain America's out of the picture temporarily, so what's a better time than to throw an U.S. agent in there? So
Mhm.
parts of this is what makes me not like the show as much, is that they tried to throw too many different things in at once. But
Mhm.
Too
one
many
thing I
Captain
did like that
Americas.
did work was Isaiah.
Yeah.
Well, I just think they should have done like U.S. agent a different way, but that's just me personally.
Mhm. I kind of
But
like
Isaiah,
what they
I
did
loved
with
in it.
Walker, but yeah, no. Again, that was part of what I said. but
It does. I think the ending for Walker is the weirdest thing. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, somehow this guy's not. He's very lucky he's not in prison,
Mhm.
and now he's almost got a promotion in some
And
ways.
he sort of felt like he went crazy and then just sort of like stepped back, I guess.
Yeah, he just pulled it
Yeah,
back somehow.
Honestly, like, I have a lot of problems with it. The
He
only part
lied-
I liked of the show for him was when he snapped and killed someone
Yes.
for killing his friend. That was the only part that made sense to me, and I was like, I get this, and he feels like John Walker. The rest of the show, like, he got all twitchy and weird and agitated right before then, and he didn't even take the serum yet, so I was just like, why is he freaking out? He'd be pissed off and annoyed at these guys because they've been arguing with him the whole way, but there was a lot that, like, obviously, Wyatt Russell did a great job. I applaud his work.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there was a lot worth like direction for the character that I was just like, can you pick what you want this character to be and like stick to it?
And this is
that's-
where I feel like
that's
it
what
feels
got
like
me.
we didn't get enough
Yeah.
episodes for that.
That's
to
what I mean.
be
Like, if
fully
we'd had
fleshed out.
I really like one more episode of just kind of developing why he started to have that.
I
'Cause
think a
it's like he was,
flashback
like,
episode would have been perfect, actually.
something.
Yeah.
Go back to his, because we definitely deserve more Battlestar, because he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was so
Oh
good.
yeah, that was the one part that I actually was genuinely like, oh, because I wasn't expecting Battlestar to like they foreshadow it, so I was hoping like I was like, oh, he's gonna get hurt or probably die.
Yeah.
And then when it did happen, I was like, fuck, like he doesn't die in the comics, like shit.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah,
damn,
his
that was-
And that's
Parents-
supposed to replace John
Walker's
Walker's family
parent
dying,
right?
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I guess. Yeah, I fully expected him
whole
to go the way that what's his name, War Machine did in Civil
Mhm.
War, when he just
Yeah.
got super injured. But nope, they
Yeah.
killed him.
No.
Yep.
Yeah,
But I mean, again, that it made some sense because you need to get him to a point where he is going to snap and kill someone, and that is really the only connection he had to who he was before he was Captain America.
Well, that was his moral compass, like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
But in-
yes and
yeah.
no, because remember the whole thing, like he had said, it's like, would you take him? Like, absolutely. I mean, it just makes it's just more.
But
of
every
you.
time
More
Walker
of you.
was about to make a mistake, he was the one going, hey, man, you got to slow your roll. Hey,
Yeah.
take a breath, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So that's why I think, man, if he, like, it's not going to, man, if he would have made a great Captain America compared to John Walker. But that was the whole point, right? Is that, like, they're not going to let a black man be Captain America. So why would they give it to, because it's these two survived their unit, right? They're the two who survived whatever hell they were in. And they go, well, we're going to give it to John. Well, what about him? He was in the same situation and they came out alive and they're a team. It's like, well, he can be his little sidekick.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that also
Yeah.
I just have to tell people like you have to read the comics for, because
Yes.
I also know why they made certain decisions with this character in the show, because
Mhm.
he needs to be perceived a certain way.
Mhm.
But there's sometimes in the comics where you're like, oof,
yeah,
this character though.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to me, like in the show, where like, oh, he has a black wife. Oh, he's very close friends with like this black sidekick in his family, and oh, he dies, and he had that literally like, oh, my friend's life didn't matter to you. Like literally, that was a Black Lives Matter
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
that he said that, and I was like,
100%.
oh, very interesting. John Walker is saying this.
Who's
and on this
basically a
side.
white supremacist in the comics, right? Like, he's very,
He he's a mess.
Mhm.
So-
yeah. It's so
yeah.
weird because after he killed that dude, and he goes and talks to Lamar's family,
oh,
yeah.
oh,
and
yeah.
he's still like sort of crazy. I assume that's just going to continue on, and then he
And then
started,
apparently
I don't-
just
I don't even
what
know.
tack welding some your medals of honor onto the back of a hubcap makes you way less crazy.
yeah, I don't understand. It was well,
It was
but
a very
props.
quick transition
yeah.
back to his more
His normal.
noble self.
But again, props to Wyatt Russell and Clay Bennett for portraying these two characters because they did a good
They
job.
did a really good job.
Because the internet hates Wyatt Russell for portraying him John
He
Walker.
has such a
did a great
good
job.
like kind of annoying scream. So when like they break his arm or whatever, and then when they fall, like you hear his scream. The three of them tumble and fall, and you hear his scream over the other ones because like. He's supposed to be an American war hero, but he's also like this, like he's kind of a weenie,
Yeah.
right? For all the shit he does, you're just like, man, just chill the fuck out. Things are gonna be okay. He's like, no, like he's always throwing temper tantrums.
Yeah.
A weenie.
I also
Yeah.
want to point out the
I love
fact
it.
that this,
He's
I think, we have now seen the first father and son in the MCU.
Father.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Who are we talking about?
We saw Kurt
Wyatt-
Russell
Kurt
as
Russell.
Ego.
Oh, you're talking about actors. I thought you meant characters.
yeah.
No,
Like,
not
we've
like
seen
This is
him.
the first
We've
time we
seen-
ever seen.
Iron
Yeah.
Man
Not
interacting
characters.
with his dad.
Yeah,
Sorry,
sorry. Yeah, I
actors,
got
actors of father
Yeah.
and son acting, which is shows just
Yeah.
how many they stretch across generations.
That's crazy. Did we talk about Valentina Allegra de Fontaine? Because I think we just sort of
Oh boy, can we?
we sort of touched upon it. There's not much to talk about, but
I like that she handed a card that said nothing on it. I
Yeah.
was like, that is so fucking her.
yeah. And
She's like, I'm a
Julia
badass Contessa.
Louis Dreyfus is perfect in that
I mean,
role.
actually, you know what? It was great. She was like, I could have done this. Maybe I did, but I didn't. But maybe I could.
She's like, but what if I?
Or did I?
I
That
look
was
forward.
pretty good.
I hope she has a bigger role in Black Widow because I just want to see her more.
As soon as she said her name, and I was like, "Oh God, this is going to be perfect." Because I was also a big fan of Veep,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was pretty much that character.
and it was basically like very similar characterization. But I'm like, it's Veep, but fucking Madam Hydra.
So there's an interesting thing is that John Walker, his handler, also like it was also named Val something else, but also Val.
Kilmer.
Can he be in the MCU?
Batman.
Can we get Iceman in the MCU?
Yes. Do you think they're building Leviathan? Do you think that's gonna be
yeah.
a thing?
It might not be called Leviathan, but yeah, probably something sinister. Like because it seems like they're moving away from Hydra and they're going to move into maybe because we've already had Russian bad guys a couple of times. So why don't we have?
I think it's going to depend very heavily on what they call Julia Louis Dreyfus' character in the Black Widow movie. If they flat out call her Madam Hydra, they have to go the Leviathan route because otherwise it'll make no sense. If they call her something else or they just call her Val, could be whatever.
I would love
feel
to
like
see. Sorry.
Go ahead. No,
Oh no, I was just gonna say I would love to see her meet up with Nick Fury because of their history in Shield.
Well, that's
So
why I was
I'm
reading
sure
about
they're
Secret
going to.
Wars
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
because
forgot
she's a
about
big
Secret
part of
Wars.
Secret Wars.
I forgot they were doing that.
And I'm sure that
Yeah.
They're not. They're doing Secret Invasion. I thought.
They're doing
Oh.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
Secret
you're right.
Invasion.
Yeah, that's why they're
Yeah.
Skrulls.
So many secret things.
But it's also weird because they already changed scrolls too. So
Yeah.
you're like,
Kind of.
Look at these poor
But they're
innocent
good
little
now.
squalls.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, poor little shapeshifters.
Maybe some of them are bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't mind the change, but I also in my mind was just like, but how?
yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
They'll probably
that's
still
a
replace
theory is that
people
maybe
who do
Sharon
all
Carter is a Skrull.
Maybe.
I never thought
I
about
doubt
that. Yeah.
Nah.
Also,
That's too many polls for her.
Just randomly,
Yes.
because I know that this is going on. We haven't seen the Kree in the series, have we? Or like in the MCU?
No.
Just in the
Not since
Just in
Captain Marvel.
Shield, or
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Captain
Yeah.
Marvel and
Kree, Guardians of the Galaxy
Guardians.
was the first of the Kree you see,
Right,
and then
yeah.
later on in Captain Marvel.
I
But not
just,
much,
for some reason
right?
I forgot that. I'm like, oh yeah, wait, we had.
we
There
had
are
Captain
a
Marvel.
fuck ton of Kree in Agents of Shield, but
Yeah,
That's what I
doesn't
mean. Like,
matter.
I know they were in Agents of Shield, but that's why I was like, have we seen them in the MCU? I'm like, yeah, we kind of.
Yeah.
and whether or not they want to acknowledge in the Inhumans.
Nah, I don't think. They,
no.
There's a lot of things that Marvel. It just depends on what they will acknowledge, and they already do that thing where they're like, we're not going to create a specific storyline for sure. But yet they'll name all these movies about those storylines, and then
Yeah.
it's nothing like it. So it's
Yeah.
like, then stop naming them after the storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if Secret Invasion doesn't have
Civil War.
Deadpool in
That was not
a
Civil War.
baseball diamond killing a bunch of Skrulls, and then like
I would be willing to bet if they haven't introduced Deadpool to the MCU by then, they will have that cameo happen just for the people to pop when they see it.
I mean they got it.
I don't know. We'll
I
see.
don't know though.
That seems a little.
It would just have to be a guy in a red suit with two swords. Like they don't have to do like a close up, just like a sweeping shot,
Yeah.
and you just see.
It
him.
can just be Ryan's stunt double. It doesn't have to be Ryan.
Oh, no, you know
sometimes give up on like
Just the voice. He just
cameos,
needs the
'cause I
voice.
feel
You
like
know
we almost
Ryan would
think of
do it
better
just for the
cameos
sake
than
of
they
doing
actually
it.
do.
Well, he owns the suit, right? So he can just like walk on set.
Owns the suit. He stole the suit.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same deal.
He's Canadian. He's polite about it.
He is Deadpool in real life. Like this is
I
not.
mean, to be fair, who would actually like if Ryan Reynolds stole a suit from my set? Like, who would go up to him and be like,
The
"You
thing
have
is,
to
it was
return
his
you know?
set.
Yeah, he's the executive
He on
producer.
that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
I'm
fair.
just saying, like,
Like,
who's
gonna
tell
ask him?
No?
Yeah.
It's
Who's
like
gonna be like, "Sorry, Ryan, I need that back," or "I need to wash." You know what I mean?
Like
like
if
going-
Stanley picked up Mjolnir and walked off set, you'd be like, Mr. Lee, we need no
Sir,
Excelsior, and then
sir,
he flies away. You're
sir.
not gonna stop him.
Yeah, if Stanley picked up Mjolnir, everyone would be like, "Yeah, he's worthy. It's fine."
Yeah.
I feel like somebody would take it away from Stanley though.
Well, then you
Oh.
hit
Have
them
as
with the
many
hammer.
rights as you thought.
Yeah. Or like Hugh Jackman, he takes his claws. No, Mr. Jackman, no, no.
Stab.
Don't stop
Like-
singing at me. Stop singing.
So apparently Kevin Feige's trying really hard to get Hugh Jackman to appear as Wolverine.
He's
but-
too old.
He's
Yeah.
Too old
He's probably
now.
also tired of.
Yeah, he just wants to sing and dance. Let him sing and
At
dance.
this point, I don't think he wants to get himself back into Wolverine shape.
I don't think you don't have to.
We're not gonna. We've already have one.
Just have
Dagobah
he doesn't
superhero.
have to
Just-
fucking take his shirt off though. He can just wear a suit. He can just wear he can wear flannel and he can wear a big puffy leather jacket and smoke a cigar and you'll never know. And then they comb his hair and that's it.
The only way I would accept him coming back is if he came back as Patch.
That's what I
And
just
they
said.
never actually call him Logan or Wolverine. He's
We just see him on a ship
That was
sailing
the
the
theory.
Madripoor.
yeah.
So that was one of the things because they keep calling it the Patch Act. And there's Madrid like, oh, maybe they're related.
Oh, they're teasing the X-Men, and nope.
I mean, like to be fair, I actually don't like Hugh Jackman as
so angry in
Wolverine.
this show.
That guy's not Wolverine. That guy's like 6'4" and Wolverine's fucking 4'11". So
You didn't like Cyberpunk Madripoor?
I love Cyberpunk.
Madripoor, literally, I almost stopped watching the show because of that episode. I continued, and then like the end of the episode, when like obviously Io appears, you're like, okay, and then I'm like, I'll keep watching this show, but
You get. This is
I
my
know.
Baron Zemo dance.
Steve and Eric are like
liked
the
the
two most
aesthetic.
Asian people I know, and Steve said it was okay, so I guess it's okay.
Steve's
I liked
more Asian
the
than me.
aesthetic. I was just mad about it
Yeah.
That's fair.
because like just like it was so many white people, and I was just
There were
like,
no
what the
Asian people
fuck?
there. It was very
No,
confusing.
that was my. I was angry. I paused it and I went, "Where the fuck are all the Southeast Asian
Here's-
people?"
can I-
who are
can I-
It's not in the
literally-
clubs.
Can I? No. Can
We
I
don't like
interject
clubs.
with a
We're at
theory
sushi.
behind this, just for the sake of it?
I probably already heard it, but go ahead.
It's a city that's populated by the worst
No.
criminals in the
Nope.
world.
Stop.
And they're white.
All-
He's right.
literally- No, it's literally the first thing everybody says. Okay, but there aren't Southeast Asians who can be criminals too.
No,
it's
we're
literally.
It's
literally
we're in the 10
right
rings. That's
near-
it.
No, it's not a matter.
Singapore.
That's the thing. It's not a matter of. It's that they can't. It's that if they had portrayed it properly, people would have been offended because you're portraying Asians as criminals. Like it's a
No.
no-win.
Maybe they
situation.
should have had less Asian signs up. Would that have made it
So-
better?
Yeah.
So
No, but
I've
the thing is,
heard.
just sprinkle in general people because when you
I
just
would have
see
been fine
the
with just a couple Asians.
There were. If you actually look at the crowds, there were.
I have to
yeah,
go back.
4 total, and that's
Well-
not even. You can't even. I counted, dude. I
But
couldn't
here's,
count
but here's
my hand.
like we can't
amount of
get
Asian
mad that they're making the white people look horrible and then
No, but the thing is, like, you can't have a population. If you had a skeevy ass city in Russia where criminals are or whatever,
They're all
you
white
expect,
Russians.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't
Yeah.
just have like 20 Asians like that look like Southeast Asians, mind you, and then like 2 quote look like Russian guys in the background. Would that
So-
make any sense?
There's 2 points. One is that this is, and specifically this is what Steve said last time, and he was like, because of COVID, they literally might have been stuck with whatever fucking extras they got.
Nah,
yeah.
no.
But here's
It's
the
all
thing.
very poor
So
excuses.
apparently, well, that's what I said. But apparently, there's a cut subplot about a plague in this season. Maybe. And I'm
Huh?
like, now it makes sense that we only see white people congregating.
No.
Anyway, let's move off this because we do need to talk about the dancing man, Daniel Bruhl, as Baron Zemo. He returns, and I love him. I thought he was so good.
He's so good.
I wish he was in it more. And they
Wanted to
actually,
see more of him?
I wanted to see see more of it.
See way more of him.
I tried to do something, but it didn't work. And we get to see that he's actually a baron and rich. I thought that was cool. What did you guys think of having Daniel Bruhl come back and play Zemo?
I love him so fucking.
I'm glad that they fleshed Zemo out into 3 dimensions.
Yeah, I just
movie.
like seeing more of the character. I like that he actually has a purpose.
I also love the fact that they also showed that he still has reach even in his jail cell.
He's like Lex Luthor.
Even from the raft,
Yep.
he still has the ability to do whatever he wants, which just makes him that much more dangerous.
I like that he literally was able to walk out the first time, and it was
Yeah.
all while Bucky's explaining this theoretical situation, then he disappears. So you're like, okay, that's exactly how it went down.
Yeah.
Very
I think there's
Zemo.
one of those things where like we got to like you can see him being as smart as he is, rather than like they kind of just said how smart he was when we watch Civil War, right? It's like,
Yeah, you're like,
well,
"That's
everything you
Yeah.
see happen is because of this guy, and it's like, yeah, and that works, but at the same time, how do we know he's that? Like, can you show us somehow that he's this
Show,
smart?
not tell.
And in this show, they did. Like, he could just break out of. He could probably break out of the raft too. Like,
Oh, for sure.
it's insinuating the fact that he's there because he wants to be there right now. Probably because he wants to meet General Thunderbolt Ross, who's in charge of the raft, which means we get Thunderbolts,
Probably.
which
Hawk?
I want so bad.
I love that they brought him back. He's still probably he might be my favorite MCU villain from all the series.
More than Loki.
Yeah, more than Loki in that because like like how many of the villains actually won at the end of the movie?
That's fair.
And it's not necessarily that he's
and
just
are alive.
That's also
it's not
fair.
necessarily that he was just a smart character in that. I mean, he explained it. He, with enough patience and enough time, you can do anything in that. And I think that's kind of the core of the character. And I love that we got to see so much of him in that. And he was just so interesting and charming the entire time we were talking to him.
He was charming the
Yeah.
whole time. Damn.
And like we all knew, like he's a horrible person. Like he has done so many horrendous things. But damn it, I wanted him to stick around more because he's so fun to watch.
But as far as we understand, not this version of Zemo. This version of Zemo, in a lot of ways, is a hero.
He went
fucked
from
up.
Zemo to hero?
Come on, Eric.
I think he was always supposed to be like a motivationally complex character.
I think they want to make a lot of character like Sharon is like gray and Zemo's gray rather than like all the Captain America. Well,
Rather than
Red Skull's not, but
No.
everyone else was like kind of
Either good or bad.
Like Bucky was a villain, but he was being mind controlled, so it's not his fault, right? Like that's a gray area. You could even, if you really wanted, you could look at Robert Redford's character and be like, yeah, the guy wants to stop a lot of terrible things from happening. He's gonna kill a lot of people to do it because he's an asshole. But you can at least go, I understand where he's coming from. I don't agree with him. Kind of like Thanos, same thing. We're like, man, this guy's gonna kill a lot of people so that
A lot
but
more.
it's terrible.
Nope. Thanos' whole mentality is just fucking stupid. In the
The thing
MCU.
about Genghis Khan is that he reduced
Dumb
carbon
as shit.
emissions significantly.
Do we want to go into Sharon Carter being the power broker, or did we say what we
we
said?
kind of
It's
grumbled
too
about it
obvious,
earlier.
It's a to be determined. They could do something
Yeah.
cool with it, but they haven't given me enough to care about it at this point.
I think they
I don't-
didn't give us enough for it to for us to care, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it's just
And we don't know where it's go. Like we don't
Yeah.
know
That's
where
just-
this
that's just
phase
it,
is
like
going, and we're
yeah.
just like,
It's just vague.
like I'm gonna be richer. You already lived like a fucking king in Madripoor. What do you like? But
now
now
she
I can live
can-
like a king in the United States.
Yeah.
she can get a
They really-
one-bedroom house now. I guess. I
And
don't
also,
know.
can we talk for a
And
second
Jim
about
House in
the
California.
giant plot hole that was created because she was the power broker? Because didn't she put a hit out on herself?
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Remember
Yeah,
the whole
she
reason
said there
she
was a
was
hit out on the
hiding?
three
that was
of us,
to make
but
sure
she was
that-
just lying, I guess, because
So
she
that's
just
what I mean. Like, you know
lies
what I
all the
mean? Like, it's
time.
it's one of those. I'm like, I feel like
It
there's
was to
something.
make you not think it was her, but they made it so obviously her, like the very
Yeah.
first scene.
She
You're
had
like,
someone pick her fucking up at the
I know.
shipyard. Like
It was so. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
what I mean. Like, it was a little like, meh.
if she would have been like working for the power broker, trying to overthrow the power broker, like
Yeah.
even if she was still like a bad guy, but trying to like get there instead of just being like, oh, she somehow she came back from the blip, she took over half of Madripoor, and also she could get back into the States. You're telling me she didn't have enough power to get back into the States? Like,
she was Madripoor.
are you trying to
now she's
insinuate
Madra-rich.
did she create this whole situation so that she could be a good guy in the end and come back to the States?
Probably.
you got to put a
Like,
one in
that's-
the good pun, man.
But
Also,
they didn't.
But also remembering, I don't think they said that she went away with the blip. I think she was just gone because of
Yeah.
the Civil War. Like,
Yeah, I
was
thought
in
she.
Yeah, I thought she was
in
just
hiding.
this whole time, being
Yeah,
shady,
like she wasn't like she didn't blip out. She was just in building her power base in Madripoor because she couldn't go home.
Yeah, she was on the run.
Yeah.
We started.
She said that, like, I think she said that, it didn't end, like, this didn't end for me at the same time it ended for you guys with the pardon and all that. She was still having to hide. There was some line she said when they first met her again that implied
Yeah.
Sharon Carter was counted among those who were snapped.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Oh,
I mean,
she was
makes even
blipped
less. And that makes even less
Was
sense.
she?
Yeah, how did she amass that
That's why-
so quickly when she came
That's why I
back?
said, like, she was like, oh, she got blipped, and then all of a sudden she came back, and she's like, well, Cap's gone, so I guess I'm a jerk now.
How long was this after the
That's
movie?
like,
I thought
what,
it was.
3 months.
Yeah, I thought it was like pretty much.
How do you become the power broker in a few months? The MCU doesn't know what the fuck it's doing sometimes, I swear to God.
Also, where did she get blipped back to? Where was she at the time?
Maybe she was in
In
Madripoor already.
Madripoor?
I actually had a cool thought. What if you were about to die when Thanos snapped you and you came back and you'd be like, oh, wow, Thanos saved my life if you think about it. And
Like
then
you
there's
were
going to be like a
falling
cult
to your
devoted to
death
Thanos because
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where did you see that Sharon was counted among the...
I literally just Googled it.
Okay. I don't know. That makes even less sense now
Yeah, right?
that was the
Makes a lot of
case.
sense.
Was
Like,
she
before,
building
it's
it
like, okay.
before she got blipped? I guess I don't know.
But they were
Yeah,
gone
well, she
for
had-
5 years. Like,
But
how
she also
how
had
would her
2 years
context
beforehand. So maybe she put a little something in, put $5 away, compound interest.
But how?
7 years
Like,
later, it's $10
We did see a lot of
billion.
banking in this episode.
I don't know.
in
It's
this
just,
season.
I'm going to choose to not think about it because it just seems like a big, stupid plot hole that makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I think they didn't know what to do with her.
Or alternative, this could have been, like you were saying, if there was a storyline that was
Cut, yeah.
Yeah.
it might have something to do with that, and that's why they trimmed it down for either
Yeah.
for time or for content.
Because she really feels like she got the short end of the stick out of everyone here in terms
Oh,
of like
100%.
character growth and stuff like that.
They should have left it alone after her little thing in Madripoor and that. She had a
Yeah.
good action sequence in it and that. We got reintroduced her in that. She shouldn't have even come back in the series
Yeah,
in that,
I don't
after
know.
that.
Because the
It
only
would've
thing
been-
she did was hire GSP
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
She
shoot.
hired GSP. We see her talking on the cell phones ominously and that, and that's about it. That's all they can come up
They
with.
could
for the
have
character.
had her stay in Madripoor and just have a phone conversation with someone and been like, "Bah, ha, ha. Evil."
It
To
would've been-
appease Brittany,
yeah.
they could have showed a bunch of Asian people that she was with.
I feel like
I'm
it would
just
have.
asking for a normal amount of a population of a fucking country you're fucking in. Like, that's all I'm asking for. A realistic population.
I feel
Maybe
like
they're
if
kind of displaced. Maybe they're all displaced because of the blip.
I feel like if Sharon Carter ended up working for Madame Hydra more so than being the power broker, it would have made more sense in this series.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it would've
again,
felt-
it could be that thing where she's like trying to fight, like try to take over. So you have like character, like, because you want two kinds of characters, right? Characters who are trying to gain something or characters who are trying to fight change in something else,
Yeah.
right? Those are like the two characters we care about.
I don't know. I'm sure they'll probably get into it at some point in time down the line, but just not yet.
Yeah. So we're running pretty long, but I do
Yeah.
want to talk about the Flag Smashers and how we moved from a singular character to this sort of terrorist organization that sort of made sense. What did you guys think of
It
this?
is. No, it's
I, from the beginning, was just like, I don't understand why these guys are being labeled to, like, it. This is another one of those things with the show that I felt like was so weak. I never at any point felt like these guys were the bad guys. These guys are terrorists. These are, it's like the things they're arguing for, these ideas. I'm just like, literally none of that sounds bad at all.
Mhm.
And that's like the whole point. And
Yeah,
it
so
just,
they're
I don't
not
know, I
trying to
didn't buy it at
subjugate
all.
anyone. They're not trying to impose it. They're literally going, hey, can you not
Yeah.
kick us out from where we live?
We
So
would
that's,
like food.
Literally,
That'd
the
be cool.
governments
Yeah.
are just like calling them terrorists. I mean, it's the same thing. You watch Star Wars and the Empire's like, oh, these rebels, these terrorists, and then you're like, oh, but the rebels are the good guys. They're doing these things and they're gonna liberate everybody. Literally, if this show was from Carly's point of view, she would be the fucking Luke Skywalker of the show.
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
impacts enough that it makes Sam think about the government this way, where he's like, no, you are wrong. You
I mean,
are
Sam
fixing
said almost from the
more
beginning,
Carlys will come. Yeah,
he agreed with her, right? He was just like, it's your
Yeah.
methods that don't work.
Yeah.
He's like, just
But that's the
don't kill
thing, is
people.
that's the difference between being Captain America and being Carly, is that she doesn't have, because Sam can walk up to a U.S. politician and go, hey man, I'm Captain America now. Guess
Yeah.
what? people agree with me, and now you're gonna do this thing. Whereas Carly's like, no one's listening. That was the whole
Yeah,
point.
she's
Of,
a teenage girl who's
Yeah.
displaced.
Wait a minute,
She's a refugee, no
don't
one's
we
gonna
have a
listen to her.
teenager that nobody, like a lot of people don't want to listen to, who's all about activism?
Greta
Hmm.
Thunberg.
She's our Carly, I guess.
Yeah, she's our Carly. She just doesn't kill
Ooh.
people yet. So.
Yeah.
Yet.
It's the fact that you put
I'm
the
here-
yet in there that made me go, "Ugh."
Dude,
Listen, she's
honestly,
gonna get
I'm
carbon
ride or
neutrality
die
one
for
way or
Greta.
the
If Greta killed somebody like tomorrow, but they deserved it, I'd be like, you know what, they had it coming.
David Attenborough would not let that happen.
It would not.
I like the flag smashers. Even though they made them being labeled terrorists, man. Rough.
Well, but I think that again was
That
the
made
whole
sense,
point
though.
they were trying to make was the fact that he's saying that they're not terrorists for asking for food and
Yeah.
to not be
Yeah.
kicked out of where they've lived. Like, and that's the whole thing is because again, especially when it comes to public perception, if you say a thing enough, people will believe it regardless of whether it's right or not. And he was trying to say, this isn't right what you're doing. They aren't this.
And a lot of the ways that young people especially are indoctrinated into like quote terrorist groups are because they show propaganda, like for example anti-American
Delusions? Oh.
sentiment. They will literally show kids be like, this is what America thinks about us.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be in support of them and their things. Join us because they hate you. They want to kill you. You should do the same to that. Like that's literally the mindset that they teach people from like a young age. So it's like, of course, these people are going to buy into a certain idea if you're the one causing that idea to happen to begin with.
Exactly.
Hawk.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
and that
these
was the
guys are
thing.
terrorists.
And that's the thing. You even saw like Carly started to buy into the hype of that we're terrorists because she's like, I don't care. Like to the point where like her, I almost said coworkers, but everyone that was with her was like,
Yeah.
well, that
Well,
thing
by the
they
end-
started to hesitate.
yeah.
They're like, even they were like, are we doing the right thing anymore? Because
Mhm.
she'd
Yeah.
gotten so extreme because she was so convinced that she had to do what she had to do.
But it's also
She
because
said
Sam
she'd
was
kill
getting
anyone who
to
got in
her,
her way,
and then
right?
she felt like she couldn't trust.
Mhm.
Like if Sam had been able to finish that conversation with her where she was starting to come to his side before he's
Walker.
interrupted by John Walker, and then she literally feels like, wow, you guys say one thing, but then you're out to fucking literally kill me. Like I can't
Yeah.
trust anyone. It sends her further down that like
Exactly.
path of mistrust, and that's
Mhm.
what turns her into what could be perceived as an actual terrorist.
Exactly.
So I agree.
Yeah.
Hawk. You look deep in thought. Any thoughts there?
There's quite a few good points put out there, but yeah, I thought I liked the idea of decentralizing the enemy that was Flag Smasher into an organization and the way it's perceived by the public, and also was a good way of talking about another important issue in the world, and which is immigration and border policies.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the arguments at the top saying we don't have the resources
And
and
the
that,
refugee crisis on top of that.
Exactly.
That's
sure.
what that was like all about.
For
Yeah.
sure.
When we absolutely have the resources to help all these people, we just
Absolutely.
not using them.
Well, I was like, I was living in France at the time when like Germany took in a large, like population of like from the refugee crisis that was happening around the time. It's still happening. But I remember people in the U.S. were like saying certain things. Are like, oh well, like we can't take them here because we're already dealing with these things. And I was literally like, I went to visit, like I visited Germany for like the weekend, and I was in literally the town in Munich where they just took in like all these refugees, and all these people are like, oh, there's going to be heightened crime and whatever. And I was like, I was fine. I'm happy. I cried tears of joy that they took these people in.
Mhm.
Like nothing bad happened. I was like, you guys have this fucked up mindset that you think refugees or people you take in to help are going to do these things. I was like, anywhere you have a highly populated area, yeah, there's going to be rises in crime just statistically, or like everything's going to rise because there's more people. There's more of a chance of
Yeah.
anything happening. But
Yeah.
ugh, it's crazy.
All right. Final question. Unless you want to say something, Matt, more before.
I was just saying, I love the fact that they switched from Carl Morgenthau to Carly.
Mm.
I like that too.
And especially because like Carl Morgenthau was a pretty intimidating, beefy dude, and then you have this small, unassuming young woman that is then leading this terroristic group. Which again, it's just I like the fact that they changed that. I like the fact they made her like she was charismatic and powerful, but you could still see that even she was going through her own process throughout the whole thing, which
For
was
sure.
Well,
nice
it's
to
like what
see.
Sam says in the first episode when he gives up the shield. He says, like, symbols are nothing without the men and women who like are behind them. So the whole show was literally about like him leading what is actually Captain America. Like it's not the shield, it's the person. And she's the opposite of that, where it's just like this whole movement. She's a person and people are following her, but it's because of the movement. She's like, I could die. People believe in this enough, they'll continue without me.
Exactly.
So, like that's the powerful nature of the show for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Last question. You can even just make it a yes or no. Do we need a second season? No, for me.
I'm gonna say no, but if it happens, I mean, I guess I'll watch
I'm not
it.
gonna be mad.
If we did, it'd be
hoping-
called Captain America and the Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
which
I'm
I think
hoping
just
they
might be the
just
next name of the movie.
Yeah, I think it just led to Phase 4 stuff, same way WandaVision did, just like one and done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be averse to a second season if it had a tighter script.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like a 4-hour Captain America and Winter Soldier movie. That would be.
But like really about them
But
this time.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Bucky starts dating Sarah. That pisses off Sam.
I forgot to bring up my favorite part. He was so smart. He brought dessert to the cookout. He did not try to make his own mac and cheese. He didn't try to throw some dumbass raisins.
That's
in
store bought
potato
too. He
salad.
didn't make that cake.
He knew. I know. He knew. He bought
That's a Walmart
a
cake.
cake and brought it.
But that's
I'm
a small
that is
cake for
how
that many
you
people.
Safely come to a cookout.
He's a super soldier. He can carry a slab.
He is
Carry a
invited
slab.
for the
But
rest
you,
of time.
but you don't want to bring a slab cake because then what are you gonna do with the leftover cake? There's always
Okay.
leftover.
You fucking eat it, Matt Moore. Are you
Leave it for
insane?
everybody.
There
All
were
right.
2 children at that cookout. They would have eaten that whole fucking cake, and you know it.
All right. Let's throw this out to our listeners. What do you guys think of the series? Let us know. And let's thank our awesome friend Brittany Toombs for coming on the show.
Me.
We would like to congratulate you on getting your affiliate status on Twitch. So Britt,
Yeah.
why don't you let the fine folks know where they can find you?
Well, you can find me on all forms of social media, usually under the name Vocal Tomes.
Vocal Tomes.
Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Or Brittany Toombs, my normal name. You'll find me. And then, of course, I'm on Twitch as Vocal Tomes, and I'm also on the podcast Everything is Permitted and A Strange New Pod. with
Our
Eric
sister
and Paul.
cast.
Yes,
we
the
talked about
sister
Star
cast.
Trek.
So that's usually the places you can find me. So give me a follow anywhere, and I don't know. If you like shitty,
We're
fun
here too.
memes. Yeah,
For
we're here
D&D?
too. So yeah, for Geeks and Kids. Yeah. Geeks with Kids. We do D&D on Wednesdays, so you can check us out or just watch their show all the time. Maybe I'll show up occasionally as a guest. You don't know.
Yeah.
It's a surprise.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna also give you a special shout out, love for you as well, because you got me this awesome birthday gift,
Yay!
which is the communicator, and my wife is like, I don't know what that is, and I was like, you make me sad.
It's like a Bluetooth one. Too.
It is a Bluetooth
I
one.
went Fancy.
I haven't connected it because I just got a new
It's probably
phone.
not charged yet. Yeah.
I just charged it yesterday so I could play with it all day, just going. Blip, blip, blip.
Nice.
So
I was hoping you
cool.
didn't already have it, but I was like,
No,
I feel like
I
Eric
don't.
needs this.
I do. So it's so awesome. So when I opened it, I was like, this is one of my favorite birthday gifts, like
Yay.
ever, which
I'm
is
glad.
great. But yes, thank you. That was very kind of you, and I love it so much. And no one in my family appreciates it like I do. My dad does, though. Me and my
Oh,
dad are
nice.
just like, yeah, Star Trek.
That's so cool because it's like the closest thing to a real one. If you think about it.
I'm gonna call him one day and be like, I'm calling you from the comm bench.
That's amazing. I love it.
Fuck.
Anyways, so once again, thanks Brittany for coming on the show. Thank you Hawk, Matt Moore, and David for coming and talking to me nerdy every other week, because we're every other week. And you know, we are on Twitch, we are on all the social medias. We stream on Mondays for Fall Guys. We stream on Wednesdays for D&D. Our Mondays are also are the podcast as well normally. And I think we also Fall Guys on Tuesday. I think that's sort of what
Yeah.
our stream
I'll
is.
play Fall whenever you guys can play.
Yeah,
I'll play.
honestly, Mondays and Tuesdays I try to Fall Guys as much
Yeah.
as possible.
I'm gonna also try and stream as well as much as I can once I build my new computer. My old one, my old video card is it's a blower card, so it's getting very loud now. So you know, I don't want that on the
Gotcha.
stream. We'll figure it out. Anyway, thank you guys all for coming out. Thank you all out there on the podcasting world, all in the Twitch live stream for coming and listening to us. We shall see you next time. Goodbye, Mushroom.
Bye.
Well, that's it for us this week on Geeks with Kids. If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at podcast@geekswithkids.ca. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekswithkids. Follow us on Twitter at geekswithkidscn. Check out our pics on Instagram at geekswithkids. And you can find all of this good stuff on our website at www.geekswithkids.ca. So if you like what you hear, why don't you hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. This podcast can be found on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, and your favorite podcasting app. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.